Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I am so glad you could keep our appointment. Now, tonight's guest is one of those that really needs no introduction. Tonight, I have returning once again Lamont Maurice L., who will present an update from the Office of Consul General of Morocco and his special guest, Katrina Jones Bay. Lamont Maurice L. is Consul General of Morocco at the Maryland State Republic. He's also an entrepreneur and the founder of EnforceTheConstitution.org. You may be familiar with the 2013 case, which made national headlines when Lamont Maurice L. was labeled a squatter and underwent extreme character assassination in the media and endured 5 years of false imprisonment for making a lawful adverse claim to his inherited ancestral estate by treaty rights. They didn't know what they were doing because Lamont Maurice L. was able to use that time in captivity to sharpen his constitutional law enforcement knowledge and skills. Tonight, he will discuss current efforts to raise the ransom needed for the release of Brother Quinn Kabir L., Rise of the Moors, and how you can assist, and also the recent successful dismissal of an eviction case, and more. I'd like to welcome back, for I don't know what time this is, to Office Hours with Dr. G, Brother Lamont Maurice L., and special guest, Sister Katrina Jones Bay. Welcome to Office Hours. How you doing?
All is well. Thanks for having us.
You know what happens when the music is still playing. Gotta rock with me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How you doing?
Yeah.
All good, all good. Islam.
Welcome.
Islam.
Let's play out my theme music a little bit.
We still rocking. That's right.
Who's she? Yeah, that's it. Welcome back, and welcome for the first time, Sister Katrina Jones Bay, to Office Hours with Dr. G. I would like to, first of all, Islam. Brother Lamont, you have been, I don't know how many times you've been on the show, so you are no stranger. And tonight you wanted to talk about something, I guess this is since July, when the incident happened. I believe it was July 2021.
It was July 3rd, 2021. Right.
And since then, there have been a lot, every now and then when we're on the show here, you'll have someone that happens to say, well, what about, the rise of the Moors and what's going on with, that situation? And why isn't somebody doing something, to assist, with that? And what's the update? So I'm happy that you have actually been involved with at least one of the brothers who was a part of that, that situation almost from the beginning. And so I'm going to let you, talk about what we want to talk about, and also introduce or so we'll know what Sister Katrina Jones Bay is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to mute myself because I might be making some noise that I don't think I want you to hear. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So once again, thank you for having me. And yes, we have been involved the whole entire time. It was actually Quinn Kabir L., who's being unlawfully detained and misrepresented as Quinn Cumberlander, the nom de guerre. Quinn Kabir L. reached out by way of his consort, Katrina Jones Bay, to the email enforcetheconstitution@protonmail.com. And he was saying through her that he was invoking his treaty right to consular jurisdiction. And I saw it in the interest of of Moorish Americans all over to be involved due to the fact that they were trying to use Queen Kabir El and the rise of the Moors situation as a narrative to discredit and slander Moorish Americans, and also to misrepresent Moorish American to be like some type of a religious sect or something like that, when it's actually a nationality, which equates to citizenship. So to set the record straight, we got involved. I was already involved and speaking on the phone with Jamal, who's the leader of the Rise of the Moorish militia group. And I was speaking to him while that incident was going on. Nevertheless, he said some things, even though, and I want to get this straight, even though they violated no laws, there was no laws violated, there was no rights violated, the treaty was not violated at all. However, anything you say can and will be used against you. So he was saying certain terms, which I think personally that he knows better. However, he was saying certain things that would relinquish his birthright as a subject of these dominions. And that can be shown in the principle under Article 6 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836, as well as Article 21. Article 6 talks about, in part, Moors who are subjects of these dominions, as well as Moors who are not subject of these dominions. Article 21 of the treaty talks about delinquency. The first part of Article 21 deals with if a citizen of the United States shall violate or basically kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrary, if a Moor shall kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country shall take place and equal justice shall be rendered, the consul assisting at the trial, which in other words would be called consular jurisdiction, and the venue would be called consular court. But then it has another part that says, and if a delinquent shall make his escape, the consul shall not be in any manner accountable for them. Delinquent or delinquency is anyone who's of a minority state. It doesn't have necessarily do with the age. It's the state of mind. That is either known to commit a crime or has committed a crime. And we're not talking about crimes under color of law. We're talking about the crime or the sin that Noble Drew Ali stated in the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, where he said in the first paragraph, those who fail to recognize the constitutional fold of government and cling to principles that delude to slavery are classified or classed as undesirables and are subject to inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. So anything, in other words, anything you say, they're going to use it against you, right? So there were certain things that Jamal said that basically by his own words, he consented to color of law. Nevertheless, the topic is Queen Kabir El, because Queen Kabir El, like I said before, reached out through Sister Katrina Jones Bay, invoked this treaty right to consular jurisdiction. And Sister Katrina Jones Bay and I have been working ever since together. Do you remember what day that was that you reached out via email and then I contacted you, Sister Katrina? I know it was in the month of July. Oh, she might be froze. Oh, Dr. G, I can't hear you. You're still muted.
I'm trying to unmute her, but I can't. So you have to unmute yourself. I don't know if she hears me.
Yeah, I think it might be a slight delay.
Yeah, she's got to hit because it's not letting me hit the unmute button. So Sister Katrina.
Okay, there it is. Oh, it just muted again.
Hit it again. Okay, there you go.
Muted again. It's going to mute again.
It's just going back and forth. Okay, there you. Wait a minute. I don't know what's going on with this. Why she keeps going into mute. Try to unmute yourself again if you don't mind. I don't know what to say. We were all talking before the show, so now it's there. You go. It keeps going back and forth in the mute because you're okay. We can hear you now. Maybe
Oh,
okay.
we look like we lost.
Okay.
Well,
Can you? So there was a question in the I saw in the comments asking who she is.
Katrina Jones Bay is Queen Kabir L's consort, connotatively speaking, wife, but not wife, consort. And she's back.
Can you hear us? Every time we do something that has this kind of impact, there's always something happening on.
Yeah, I know, right? Every time.
Yeah. Yes. Let me see. I don't know. We're okay. We'll try to figure out if she can. Can you hear us, Sister Katrina Jones Bay? All right. You know what? Until she can pop in, if she can, jump in. Can you continue to talk, and we'll talk about what? Yes.
So I've been working with Sister Katrina Jones Bay as well as Queen Kabir L, who's presently being kidnapped and held for ransom. And I've been working with them since July of 2021. And because he was not that much knowledgeable of the Circle 7, the 101 Questions for Moorish Americans, as well as the Moorish literature, I told him that, or I made aware of him that these lessons must be known before attempting to exercise a birthright. So I told him that we were going to study and train over the phone, even though that's a recorded and monitor conversation. I've done it plenty of times with people, as well as myself when I was being kidnapped in the prisoner of war camp. So from July 2021 until now, and still going, we've been studying with Quinn. Quinn has been working on his language. He's been handwriting his documents, and we actually was successful in issuing a writ of habeas corpus ad subjudiendum, and they entered it into the records of Malden District Court Incorporated, which we all know that's not a court. And we went out to Malden District Court, to the jurisdiction known as Massachusetts or Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and attempted to enforce the writ of habeas corpus for his release. And they actually obstructed justice. And we had that whole video footage on our YouTube channel before it was taken down. And it was not taken down because of the footage. The footage was uploaded, I believe, in around September. And the YouTube channel Enforce the Constitution was taken down, I believe, sometime in, I want to say, January or February, something like that. And we started a YouTube channel. But I can say that they did not publicize what happened in the back parking lot with us. They only publicized what happened in the front of the parking lot with supporters of the rise of the Moors. And once we posted it on YouTube, the whole incident of what happened in the back of the parking lot, they said, I believe it was a week or two later, dozens of Massachusetts State Police resigned because they said that they didn't want to take the COVID-19 or the jab, I want to say. And that's not true. That's just the narrative that they come up with, because every time violations occur.
Is he on? Is he on the phone?
The caller has hung up.
Okay.
Oh, is that Quinn?
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
he hung up. He's going to call right. He's going to call right back.
Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna call right back.
Okay.
He couldn't
Yeah.
call you.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah, we've been waiting for Quinn to call so that we can hear the words from Quinn himself. But yeah, the brother's been studying, and now what they're doing now is attempting to force an attorney on him, which they call a standby attorney, for the sole purposes of him consenting to give up his birthright, and he's refusing, which is why now the case or the collusive action, and I would like for everyone to look up the term in the law dictionary, collusive action. Collusive action, that's another word for collusion. The collusive action was transferred from Malden District Court to Middlesex Superior Court, and now they're blocking the documents that we are issuing from Morocco Consular Court due to the fact that they are forcing him to compelling him to an attorney, which he's been refusing on the record. And if you all don't know what an attorney is, you want to look up the term attorn, ATTORN, so that you can see why they would always suggest that you get an attorney, because an attorn is to turn over or to transfer or to consent to a transfer of your estate to be in reversion by way of escheat. That's what attorney is. That's what attorneys do. They do not look. They're not there to protect your birthrights. They're there to transfer your birthrights over to the crown. And you can know that, as I said
Okay, I'm
before, by
about to
looking up
put you
the
on.
term attorn and look up the term escheat and compare the two. Also look up the term attornment. So right now they have Quinn being held on a ransom of $5,000. That's him right there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You on phone. You on mute.
Islam, Maurice.
Islam, welcome.
Islam, Quinn.
Islam, family.
Islam, you on Dr. G right now.
They
Everybody
hear
hears
you.
you, brother.
Islam, they are interrupting the signal pretty bad right now. If y'all can hear me.
Islam, we can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like it's breaking up.
We boo.
Yeah. It's like it's happening. So
Okay.
Islam. Yeah, how you doing, brother? You're live on Office Hours with Dr. G.
I don't know if he's here. It's probably a delay.
Dr. G.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you, my brother? Thank you. Welcome to the show.
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful. Wow.
Considering, right?
It is a pleasure, Dr. G.
You're welcome. Well, listen, you have probably about at least close to 300 folks that are listening to you right now, and it'll be more when they see this in the replay. So we want to while you're on, get your, if there's anything that you want to say, I'm gonna give you that chance to say that now, because I know your time is limited.
Hello?
Yeah,
yes, we hear you.
Anything you want to say, you live. So anything you want to say, they hear you. They hear you, boo.
Okay. I want to say peace and love to all the more, and thank you for the support and the upliftment and encouragement. This whole deal has been, I've learned a lot about being kidnapped and being in this facilities, and I've seen exactly how things are being operated from the inside, from being on the inside. And from talking to our brothers that are held kidnapped in these facilities, one thing I want everybody to know would be that, it is our time, and we're waking up in the knowledge of, because everybody see that what's going on is not right and something needs to be done about it. And this is a solution for it. And the acceptance of individuals wanting to learn and more. I was most surprised about the willingness for my brothers to learn more and become competent and to stand on their square and be who they are. And that's been the most beautiful thing and experience that I've seen and witnessed while I've been kidnapped for the last 10 months. And I guess without this process, I wouldn't have gained what I've gotten, and I wouldn't be as strong as I am now to learn how to surrender. I guess in order for me to gain the strength that I gained for this process, I was forced by not my will to surrender a part of myself to adapt, and through that process, I became much stronger, and I became a stronger more, and understand that what it is that needs to be done and steps that need to be taken for our people and our nation. It's a big one, and I know that together we can make this thing work. And we can happen. And it's actually a joy. It's been joyful for me to actually go through this process with the mindset that I've had and set myself to be set on. Due to the fact that I were men that I've talked to and to encourage them in learning more about the truth and the law. And reading the Constitution with them, it's been a exhilarating experience. And I don't know, I'm just excited. I'm extremely excited about a lot of things right now. And I just enjoy this peace and love, peace and love.
Well, thank you. For it's just good to hear your voice. And I know even though you're saying joy, you're learning stuff. I know you'd rather be out and with your kinfolk, with your loved ones, and you know that. So, and everything has its time, its factor, and you're probably in there, as you said, to be a light and an encouragement to some others that may not have known or would not have known their rights to this extent. You're learning from under Consul General Lamont L, and you're able to then pass that information and that knowledge on, and that's a good thing. But it has its time when it's going to be up. And so we're hoping that as a result of this show that we can, raise the funds so that you can come from out of that that situation of being being kidnapped and be able to tell the full story. Don't necessarily want you to try to do that now and on, over the where you are, but we need to get you out so that you can then tell the story, because there is a story behind everything that has happened. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, my sister, for holding on and supporting him. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people give up. And I know from early on we spoke I think months ago, and just to hear that you were still holding on and still fighting a good fight to right this injustice, it is encouraging to me. And I know there are others, because I get calls, there are others out there where their loved one, their mate, their son or sometimes even daughters are kidnapped. And so, what would you say as encouragement, if you will, to someone else who might be going through having a loved one in captivity?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. It's not easy, but if you really love someone, you're going to stick it out. You're going to be there with them. A lot of people love somebody, but when they in a situation like this, they run away. And I just chose to stand behind them, stand and support them, and not just say I love him, but show that I love him. Because at that moment, he needed my support. He didn't need no other than support. So I just chose to stay in there and fight with them. And at the end, the long run, it's going to pay off. But I did it because I loved them. And I still love them.
And that's
the ultimate reason why.
And she's a soldier. She is a soldier. That's why.
Well, that's good. I see someone is asking in the chat, Brother Lamont, whether or not you have a PayPal. I know we have the cash app there. Someone is asking if they want to, I guess, give via PayPal. How can that be done?
I only have a Cash App, and we greatly appreciate everyone's contribution and support and love. But I only have PayPal, Cash App. And when you send the Cash App to $ Lamont Maurice L,
for donation. Okay, yeah.
Make sure you put donation for Quinn. Make sure you put donation for Quinn, and that way, I can have a record of everyone that's donating towards that for the ransom.
Right. And do we have a figure amount that we're a goal that we are trying to reach? So
Yes, it's 5,000. 5,000
notes. Okay.
Yes, and they're saying the ransom, which they're calling under color of law bond, but it's a ransom. So we got to call it what it is. They're saying that the ransom is to be paid in full because Massachusetts, they're under their color of law, they don't do percentages. Normally, you can pay like a 10% of the ransom, but they want it in full. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise funds and put it in the form of a money order, and send it off so that Quinn can be returned, and then he can begin to exercise his treaty right to consular jurisdiction under Article 20 and 21 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. And we've studied, we've trained. I've been training with Sister Katrina and Quinn. Definitely with Quinn, we've been doing murder board. A lot of people that come on to the civic workshops, you all know what murder board is.
For those who don't know, would you please explain it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, did he call back? Oh, okay.
No, he's still on. He's still on.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
He's still on.
So murder board is a basically what they call a scrub down, but the de facto government established a program called murder board, which is used for the sole purpose of preparing someone for a difficult oral examination. So everyone should look up and go to Google and look up murder board definition, and you'll see it. And that's what we've been doing with the Brother Quinn, and we do that with other Moors that we give aid and assistance to under consular jurisdiction. And it must also be known that all Moors or all Moorish Americans, according to principle, are not entitled to consular jurisdiction based upon their status. And the status is shown under Article 6 of the treaty, as well as Article 21 of the treaty. So it's a qualification. You will be known by your words, actions, and deeds, starting with your words. Your words cannot be corrupted. Otherwise, when you go to the definition of escheat, you'll see that the descent is broken by the corruption of the blood. The corruption of the blood is the corruption of DNA. DNA holds information and memory, and all we speak is memory, right? So if we're speaking a corrupted language called connotative linguistics, which Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey always touches on, the difference between connotation and denotation, connotation being the suggestive meaning of a word, meaning it's not the true meaning of the word, versus denotation, which is the true explicit meaning of the word. And you'll know that by studying etymology, which is the study of the origin and development of words. So in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. So the word cannot be corrupted. Otherwise, they get to escheat, your estate. And that's what that means. So you will be known by your word, and the culture is in the language. So that's the point that I was making as far as when I was speaking with Jamal during the time of the incident at July 3rd, 2021, when they all got kidnapped. But Quinn, we've been training, as I stated before, and I've been training with his soldier consort, Katrina, and it's been an exhilarating experience for myself because I've been learning as well as Quinn, and I'm sure the de facto private corporate commercial mercenaries that's been listening to our calls have been learning as well. So I wanted to shed light on the two of the conspirators that are holding Quinn against his will hostage at the prison of war camp known as Suffolk County House of Corrections Incorporated at Boston, Massachusetts, under the custody of Earl D. Tulun Jr., who's a stateless person male acting as sheriff for Suffolk County, Massachusetts, as well as Christopher Black, a foreign U.S. citizen male acting as deputy warden of the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. And Dr. G, if you don't mind, could I do a screen share?
Yes, let me see. Yeah, let me do it like this. So yeah, so now you can bring up something.
Okay. I'm pulling them up right now. Just give me a second. There we go. All right. Okay, where is?
When you pop it in, I can then allow.
Yeah, it's popped up, but the share option is not highlighted. It's
you see it down at the bottom. I mean, I have it clicked on share. So you have to click share at the bottom. You see that?
Yeah, I did. And it says choose what you want to share. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to choose.
Oops.
All right, so this is what you want. Do you have the page when you get I see your whole screen, but do you want to pick up a specific page before I pull it up?
Can you all see?
There we go.
Yes. So this is Christopher Black, who is obviously a foreign hybrid European colonist male, classified as a U.S. citizen under plausible 14th Amendment U.S. corporate citizenship clause, which is unconstitutional, by the way. And he's acting as the deputy warden. And next is Earl D. Tulun Jr. I think I'm saying it right. He is a 14th Amendment U.S. corporate citizen, stateless person male, acting as sheriff. So these are two of the individuals out of several other co-conspirators that are kidnapping and holding hostage for profit our brother Quinn Kabir L. Under the Christian Black Codes of 1724, which in short is called Black Codes. The Black Codes, and I'll stop the sharing. How do I get back?
You're back.
I'm back. Okay. The Black Codes is incorporated under color of law in all of the state policies, or which they call the state codes. And they are known as bills of attainder. And bills of attainder are unconstitutional per Article 1, Section, I believe it's 9 and 10 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. So we don't need to necessarily look at the charges because there is no charge. There is no plaintiff, identifiable natural person, that is, because the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Incorporated cannot bring a claim against a flesh and blood human being. We all know that. That's called color of law. And that was actually explained. This is on a side note. That is explained on the YouTube channel, Enforce the Constitution. Go to the YouTube channel, Enforce the Constitution, and you'll see a traffic stop, which I was involved in, and a sister who was actually pulled over. I didn't educate or erudite the the highwayman posing as a policy enforcer, he knows this information already. He did not question the black code. He knew exactly what I was talking about when I said we're not under your Christian black codes. I did not educate him on the difference between traffic dealing with travel versus traffic dealing with commerce. They all know that the term traffic means commerce. Traffic stop is a commercial stop. So I did upload that video for YouTube for the sole purpose of erudition to all of the Moorish Americans that are looking to exercise their right of travel, and to show basically the principles that you need to stand on, and to show how they will continue to try to control the narrative. The narrative being jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is a compound word. Juris is the first. That means of right or of law. Diction is the language or the speech. So in other words, jurisdiction is law language. What he was speaking in the video was color of law language. What I was speaking in the video, as far as consular jurisdiction, is treaty law language. So it's a conflict of, it's not even a conflict of laws. It's the supreme law of the land versus color of law. And they know it's color of law, which is called the black codes. Traffic stops or traffic violations, all the way to burglary charge, any charge, they're always under the black code. And I encourage everyone to go to enforcetheconstitution.org and click on research. When you go to research, scroll down to where you see black code. Read those black codes, all of the articles in the black codes, and compare them to the state codes. Compare them to the charges that they are allegedly charging you under, because they're not even charging you, they're charging the Sister Q Trust Estate, which is the all capital letter name, which we all know is a straw man or nom de guerre. So what we do here with the consulate, as well as our civic organization called enforcetheconstitution.org, is we teach and we promote civics, but we also teach and promote responsibility, so that we can all have the ability to respond and not look for other people, especially people that are in office, to take on the responsibility of things that we're supposed to take responsibility on our own, which is called karma. Everybody has to face their karma, and it's shown in chapter 1 of the Moorish, of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. The only way you get your birthright back, per chapter 1, is through a conflict that cannot be told in words. It says he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. And that's what had to be explained to Quinn, so that he can know exactly what it is that he's looking at. It's not just violations of law or violations of right. It's also an initiation to get your birthright back. Because everybody thinks that, oh, all I got to do is say this and file that, they're going to magically leave me alone. Well, think about it. If they have a record, several records of you throughout your life giving up your birthright, and then all of a sudden you send some paperwork in and record it in the case or record it in county records, and you expect them to just immediately stop trying to escheat your rights by getting your consent, then you're madly mistaken. Just like Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution for the United States of North America applies when, and I'm talking about the full faith and credit clause, applies in a situation where they're executing de facto warrants or administrative warrants or anything else like a judgment or an order. We do the same thing. Full faith and credit must be given in each state to the public acts, public records, and public judicial proceedings of every other state. So think about it. If all they have is a public record of you consenting to your birthright to be escheated, even though it was done ignorantly and without your knowledge, there now has to be a record of you defending and exercising your birthright, meaning it has to be a record of you reclaiming your birthright. If there's no record, expect the test. Expect to be challenged, and know that this is war and there are casualties in war. And it's not just as simple as, oh, call Brother Lamont or call Brother Taj or call Dr. G and then just let them know, hey, somebody's been kidnapped. Let's get them out. Get them out real quick. No, doesn't work that way. We are all coming out of a delinquency status. We're all coming out from being classified as undesirables, classified as stateless persons, classified as subjects of these dominions. So it is a divine and national movement with this great missionary work of uplifting fallen humanity. And it doesn't come and happen overnight. It comes by way of experience and knowledge, not emotion, not belief. So just wanted to put that out there. And I wanted to definitely give big ups to Quinn, because he is a soldier, and his consort, because without the sister, you know, I don't believe Quinn would be that encouraged, because our mothers are the ones that encourage the sons. There's nothing on this planet but mothers and sons. And ever since we were children, we've been trying to impress our mother. And I'm speaking about the sons. So Quinn is definitely impressing his empress and showing that he's not going to fold and that he's not going to give up his birthright, but he's going to study and show himself approved, as it's stated in what's that, 2 Timothy chapter 2, study and show yourself approved.
Yeah, working
Islam, yep. And also want to make one more point before we move forward. Luke chapter 17, verse 33. It says, whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. And whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. If you think for 1 second that you're going to go from this artificial life to living an abundant, free, justice, love, truth, and peace life without losing this artificial life, think again. You have to be sacrificed. That old life must be sacrificed. It must die. And that's what Luke is talking about. You're seeking to save your life, you will lose your life. And the life that they're talking about is the lower self. You will be renewed. You will be transformed. All right. And once the connection to nature happens, the 7 chakras in your body, which also includes the 7 senses, are connected. And now you got the all-seeing eye, which is the 7 eyes of Allah: touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight, intuition, and insight, all looking at the same time. That's called sovereignty. And Quinn has had his awakening from being in the Desmal crypts, because those that reach the lowest depths will attain to the highest heights. And Quinn knows that. So now he knows what he's looking at, not because Lamont said it, not because Taj said it, but the record says it. And that record being the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine instructions from the prophet. Those are the instructions. If you ignore the instructions and only think that you can just declare you're a foreign national or declare you're a Moorish American and they ain't got authority over you, think again. You will be tested. And that's the purification. Islam, I yield. Oh, what a coincidence. The fire
they're trying to get you out.
What a coincidence.
Wonder why.
Yeah. This is some of the tactics that they do. So, you know, it's war. It's war. And I don't see nothing, but I don't know if you all. I'll press mute whenever I'm not talking. I'll press mute.
Are you gonna leave the building?
No, I know what this is. They've done this on the Zoom civic calls that we have when we do our civic workshops. They do this. Whenever I'm doing a consultation with a specific person that has a professional degree. and I guess they've been, you know, following them or harassing them. They do this. So no, unless I smell smoke, and you know, as a matter of fact, I'll call in a few seconds or a few minutes to call downstairs to see if it's a fire drill. But
they're waiting for you to come out. They're waiting for you to exit the building.
Right, yeah, right, yeah. And if I gotta exit, I'll just call. I'll connect on my phone, so we won't lose connection.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. You see, you all see see what's going, or you hear what's going on.
Hey, it's inevitable. They can't stop it, and that's what I told Quinn. They can't stop, even though they listening to how we're training on the phone and all of that. They can't stop it. They need your consent. That's why they say anything you say can and will be used against you. They need you to consent, because the power comes from your word. So this the little BS that they do, though. So it comes with the territory.
So they specifically trying to get your attention.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me call downstairs and just to confirm.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, you all, we are live, so you know you can't make this up. You can't make this up, and it you know, stuff happens. I mean, we are being surveilled and listened to and looked at and all of those other, you know, things, but it should not stop us from doing what it is we have to do to get the truth out. He's going to find out, you know, whether or not he has to leave his residence or his domicile, rather, to be a part of whatever they're looking at. But I don't know. Let me get you back on. I have you muted, sister. If let me see again. Can you hear me? I know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Yeah. So again, we can talk about the a little bit more about the impact, you know, of just being strong. You know how you said, you know, love is the main reason. You know, of course, why you stood as a, whatever that woman saying, stood by your man, and why you're standing by your man. But so many don't. Yeah, so many don't have that commitment. And how has it been for you? Have you been learning about more of the law?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I mean, yeah, I've learned some. I have it a way I probably will learn, but I'm always learning as I go. Mm-hmm. But you know, some people don't have love. You definitely need patience. And you need understanding. I'm not going to always focus on the love portion, because some people you don't love, but you definitely need patience. And sometimes I don't even know how I did it. I'm just being honest. I don't know how at times, because it was frustrating. And then the people that you look to, you know, that you think is going to support, don't support. So sometimes you feel like you're left out there by yourself. Sometimes I had to talk to myself. Sometimes I had to vent. You know, sometimes I even had to be honest and vent to Quinn, even when he didn't want to hear it. But I had to be honest, because at times it was frustrating. At times I wanted to give up. So I'm going to always just focus and say it was love. It's patience. And sometimes you don't want to deal with it. And sometimes I've had to vent to other people, not necessarily to him, because he's already dealing with a lot in there. So I've had to vent because I was frustrated, and then sometimes I felt like I wasn't being heard. So you definitely I would say you definitely love, but you definitely would learn out of this patience. You would definitely appreciate your spouse more. And I think he's listening, so he can, you know, if he, but he's learned to appreciate me as well. So I think our love has grown. We patience and perseverance. I would definitely say that.
Well, I know that, you know, he was away.
He would like to chime in.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We're listening.
Okay. All right. Peace. I definitely would like to say this whole ordeal, we have made each other stronger, became a team, it came together as a unit to become as one, to the point where she became that vertebrae that I needed in my backbone to stand up and be strong and be the person that I am. I have to give full credit to her as being that vertebrae that I needed to allow my backbone to be as strong as it is, to withdraw the harassment, the mistreatment, the treatment of the bills and everything. This is the total mistreatment of being targeted. The path that I chose to go as being an upright, independent, fearless Moor, standing on my square and enforcing the law. This was trickled down all the way to the COs in these facilities to target me and harass me and attempt me to act out of my character so they can throw me in a hole and have more information to report on. Constantly kept me under supervision of a video camera, and they studied us like they studied me like a chimpanzee. It was actually comical when I look back at it, because how strong I have grown through those challenges. I want to give all credit to my consort, my empress, for being that vertebrae in my backbone that I needed to stand up strong. And like she stated, when she got from talking, communicating with her, I can hear in her voice that she's going through it. And I was at that point in time, I have to be strong enough for both of us and encourage her as well, to let her know that, hey, baby, I'm doing great. I'm feeling brand new. It's a new day. And every day I kept that positivity going, and she had let me know constantly that, boo, this whole thing, you made me strong by you being so strong. And the days that she felt down, I communicate with her, and that will uplift her days as well. I had my down days as well, and she would do the exact same thing to me, missing the babies, and it's been a great partnership for her to know that the appreciation that I have for her, for the fact that she was literally that vertebrae that I needed to become a strong, upright, independent, fearless Moor, to withstand the challenges that I went through. And I know for a fact I wasn't able to sustain the way that I've done and the character that I've done it in, with the respect and love that I did it, without her being right there, just a phone call away. At night, spiritually, and then able to be beside her in the fifth dimension, and communicating to her how that whole process works and everything over. It's been a exhilarating experience, and I appreciate her so much for that, for being my partner, and what's needed for all of us, for all the Moors to know that, yes, love. To me, the definition of love, just so we know, love is not what we may think it is. Love is the things that you're willing to deal with when you don't want to deal with. That's love. Love is dealing with the things that you don't like, the things that you would rather change about someone. Love is the ability to deal with things that you don't see perfect in that person. And that's what love is, the ability to overlook and give concern, consideration, and thought and appreciation. That's what real love is. The ability to look past the tangible things and actually see someone's heart and understand that person actually cares for you. And that's what we're doing as a people, the appreciation that I have for her, for praise that she gave me constantly. Boo, you strong, you so strong, you make me strong. And I'm like, dang, I am strong. So it was piggybacking off of each other. And from what we have been up against for so long, we don't have that. And that's the love that we have to extend to each other And that's what I love so much about our Moorish family and the Moorish community and the nation that we continuously build is the love that we actually have for each other based off of our differences, our likes or likes. None of that matters. And once we come together and join our hands together and do this thing together, then we can do it together. That's what I'm most thankful for.
Thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
That's good. That's a public tribute, and I was glad to hear it. I'm sad though to say that even if you're going through, since you've gone through what you've gone through, and you still you have love, and you want to see our community come together, we still have a lot of divisiveness going on, and that's the sad part. That, and hopefully when you do come home, that you'll be able to bring some of these split ends, if you will, together, because everybody's not going to have had the experience that you had and still come out saying, we need to get along, we need to love each other, we need to work together. We can't, we can't fight each other and expect to win. And so I know that you were up there for a while. Since you sacrificed, because even while he was up there before this happened, right? Whatever, Brother Quinn, your dedication was to the movement. You sacrificed family to go there to be a part of what you thought was, going to bring us together as a nation of people, as a Moorish Divine National Movement. I believe that's why you, right. So, you went because your heart was for
exactly. Sacrifice trucking business to go out there and build a community, to show an example for every state republics, Moors on our land, to show them that, hey, we come together, we can get our community back. Forget buying back the block. We can have our land back. We can have each other. We take each other. The food giveaways, the doing. I literally would take the wages that I would earn that week, and I'll go to the store, Macy's, Target, buy $1,200 worth of things, leave the tags on them, and just give giveaways. We went to the Bronx, we gave giveaways. Doing the freezing cold food giveaways is free. And then to see the response on people's faces, like, we got to take care of each other. And that was the most beautiful thing I experienced.
I want to say this before you get cut off. I want to say something. Karma is going to come back to you for what you've done, even though it seems like you said, you have peace even in that situation, and that's a part of because of how much joy and how much love you have for your community. So it's what you get back, what you give out. So it's going to come back to you immeasurably. And I hope those that are watching and listening are going to, give out of their parts, of, even if it's no more than $1, a note. We're going to get you out of there. We're going to get you out of there and get you back to your family and to your loved ones. Islam.
Oh, thank you. I love family.
Islam. Love you.
I'm going to call right back
Islam,
Thank you for your
Yeah, we're going to. Well, so you're back.
They had that alarm going off on the 10th, 11th, and 12th floor and no other floors. So
really?
That was a direct diversion. It was a distraction.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's because they cannot stop what's inevitable. They can't stop it. Once you know, this is the difference. When you've been challenged for the first time, what they're doing is giving us an opportunity to basically show ourselves approved. So it's a battle. It is a fight. Going to the venue that they call court is, or going to court, period, is an opportunity to battle, but civilly battle. So it's not a physical battle. It's a civil battle. It's a battle of the minds. So it is a battle. You understand? And what they're doing is they're basically, pulling out the chess table and playing chess. All right. And that's an opportunity at that moment to create a record, in your records as well as their records. And we don't need to look to go to a county records because first of all, it's not a county, it's de facto. That's not a county. Second, the word county, we have to know what the word county means. Because a lot of us was running there and saying, oh, got to get the stuff filed in the county records. The word county, drop the Y, you got count. The count is, I think it's above an earl, which are titles of nobility in the English gentry. And then when you add AC to count, you have account. A county is an account. What is it accounting for? It's accounting for the estate in reversion or the ancestral estate in reversion of the heirs of the land, also called the Moors. Counties are not territory, has nothing to do with the land. It has to do with the records or the estates that are in reversion. All right. And we do not need to file anything in the county. What we have to do is get the county to remove that estate from reversion. That's the goal. Have them remove it from their records and you create your own records. That's sovereignty. That's self-government. We got to stop running to them and acting like they're our salvation just because it appears that way. So that's the opportunity, getting back to my point, that's the opportunity when they challenge you. That's an opportunity to show yourself approved. All right. So once you do that a few times, they stay out your way. And I'm testifying to that. All of the tests became my testimony. And at that moment, you can, when you're challenged again, if they, you go to another jurisdiction, such as what I did with the sister at Pennsylvania, all you can do is pull out your records because full faith and credit has to be given in every state. Every state. So if you don't have a record of you defeating them, get one. You ain't got to go out and look for trouble. You know what I mean? Because at every turn and every point, wherever we're doing commerce, they got their hands out. They got their hands in your pocket. So it doesn't matter really what you do as far as the issue of law that's concerned, like the subject matter. It doesn't really matter the subject matter. What matters is you defending your birthright, you claiming back your estate. And that could even be, with a car loan, because that's an estate in reversion, because it's not a car loan. You want to look up Fofment, the term Fofment, F-E-O-M. I can't really spell it off the top of my head, but it's Fofment. And it's spelled Fiofment. So the E is silent, Fofment. That's what those instruments are. They're Fofments, also called bills of attainder. They're not what they display to be on the front side of them. So, and when I say bills of attainder, I'm talking about the traffic tickets. I'm talking about mortgages, foreclosures, evictions, car loans, student loans. They're all Fofments. They're all misrepresented instruments, bill of attainders. And that's an opportunity for you to either reclaim your birthright and challenge it, or they get to claim your birthright by way of its cheat because you're going to consent to it. So we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's in feudal law, it's a grant of ownership of freehold property to someone.
Yes.
I put the spelling of it in there, F-E-O-F-F-M-E-N-T. They want to look that up.
Yes. And
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. Go ahead. What was your thought?
I at one point when you're talking about that, I know you were going to talk about if they haven't seen that video, definitely go to Enforce the Constitution on YouTube and check out that video of that traffic stop, because I thought that was amazing, and particularly at the end when he had to admit how good you were. That was awesome. But you had another victory with regards to an eviction, and I want to make sure that you talk about that.
Yes, that was the brother Keith L. Bay. You all can go to enforcetheconstitution.org and click on foreclosure cases, and you'll see the paper trail that Keith L. Bay and I established in the records of the foreign venue called, what was it, Fairfax County General District Court at Virginia. And matter of fact, I can actually pull it up. You mind if I do the screen share again?
Go ahead. I'm still in.
Okay. Let me pull it up first. Okay, I click here, share screen. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
All right. So this is the website. This is a pop-up for our fundraiser for the brother Quinn. But you'll go to foreclosure cases. And here you will scroll down. This is the workshop that we did. It was called Evidence of Mortgage and Foreclosure Fraud, Civics workshop. And it was featuring Keith L. Bay and myself. And this is what we pretty much went over. This is the case information, also known as the summary, case summary, showing that the case was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. And these are the paper trails, also called the conclusive evidence, which proves lack of jurisdiction and fraud. This is the final thing that was entered into the record and issued by Keith L. Bay with my assistance. And it was filed February 1st, 2022. And this stamp is the authentication stamp. And, it's all jurisdictions don't authenticate. Nevertheless, when they authenticate it, this full faith and credit has to be given to it. Either way, even if they stamp received, full faith and credit has to be given to it because it's part of the record. Especially if they're claiming it to be a judicial proceeding, which we know it's not. It's de facto. But this here is the default judgment, the judgment that was made by their default in proving jurisdiction. Because they're not Article 3 courts, they do not have the consular jurisdiction to hear and decide cases affecting Moorish Americans in disputes with citizens of the United States, which is a diversity of citizenship issue. All right. Not by no means are we to look for remedy with their venue, because that means you're submitting to the jurisdiction. So all he did was send them notice, which is the first essential of due process of law, notice, then the opportunity to be heard. The first notice that was made was this affidavit of fact, writ of quo warranto, which is in the nature of an averment of jurisdiction. And it challenged the jurisdiction of Fairfax County General District Court, i.e. the representatives, including Suzanne and Sang, who was the acting attorney for the corporate plaintiff, which is not a plaintiff, because a corporation cannot make a complaint. It's not real. With the writ of quo warranto, he made adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate to his estate that was being held in reversion. And proof that the estate is held in reversion is they would identify the estate by the address. That does not identify the estate. The estate is known by the geographical location being latitude and longitude coordinates. But in county records, land records, that's the estate in reversion. So he made adverse claim of title. The title or aboriginal title that he claimed was Bay. Aboriginal titles are El, Bay, Al, Day, and Ali. That's the aboriginal title to the land. That is why Noble Drew Ali said, if you don't do anything else, proclaim your nationality. Nationality deals with civics, not religion. So Noble Drew Ali taught civics. And the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, as well as the Moorish Science Temple of America, is a civic organization. They adopted as the corporate name Moorish Science Temple of America, being a religious organization that still teaches civics on Sundays, because it says in the the divine Constitution and bylaws, it says from out of Sunday school come the guiders of a nation. Nationhood deals with civics. That's why they don't teach civics in school. Nevertheless, Noble Drew Ali taught civics. Then once they failed to prove jurisdiction and they failed to rebut Keith L. Bay's claim, he issued the default judgment on an affidavit of fact. That is because when you go to the United States Republic Constitution, it says right here in the preamble, we the people of the United States do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, in which the United States of America adopted the Constitution in 1789. They adopted it because it doesn't belong to them. These are ancient principles that came from our foremothers and forefathers. So when they say we the people of the United States, they're talking about the Continental Congress. That's the beginning of the Constitution. And then when you go down to the 10th Amendment right here, it says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. Those sovereign powers are known as the executive power, the legislative power, and the judicial power. That's the power to make law, the power to enforce and execute the law, and the power to interpret and apply the law. Those powers were delegated to the United States under Articles 1, 2, and 3. But if an individual is claiming to have been delegated those powers by their words and or actions and or deeds, and it is shown by in the record upon your challenge that the powers were not delegated to them because they did not produce the delegation of authority, it says those powers are reserved to the people. That's because the Constitution only ordained and established a Republican form of government. Republican form of government, and I'm giving you all principles. A Republican form of government was sanctioned under Article 4, Section 4. Right there, Republican form of government. The United States should guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government. Now, what I'm about to say is going to make some people feel uneasy because they're about to be shown for who they truly are. Anybody speaking against a Republican form of government is committing treason because they're overthrowing the Republican form of government, which is the supreme law of the land, sanctioned by the supreme laws of the land, I should say, for that of a democracy, which is unconstitutional. All right, so let's go to Republican.
Is that like not to be confused with the Republican Party?
Yeah, not to be confused with the Republican Party, because the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are two sides of the same coin. You're absolutely right. And if you want to know who the Republic is, we're going to go to the definition of Republican government under the term government in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. We're going to government. So don't look for Republican government. Look for government. This is how they be hiding things in the dictionary. So right here, government. And then under government, we're going to Republican government. So government is in all caps. And then under government, you'll see the several different terms of government: local government, federal government, mixed government, then Republican government. And Republican government, it states one in which the powers of sovereignty, executive, legislative, and judicial, are vested in the people and are exercised by the people either directly or through representatives chosen by the people to whom those powers are specially delegated. So if the power is not delegated to them, claiming to be representatives of the government, then guess what? The people exercise the powers. Anybody that's speaking against anyone enforcing the Constitution, whether they be Moorish Americans or foreign hybrid European colonists, is committing treason and an enemy to their own government. And Noble Drew Ali stated in the Moorish literature, a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. He said, right here, the wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And let's identify commerce, because there's no gold and silver in public circulation. Commerce is trade. So whenever you sign a bill, whether it be a car note, a house loan, a mortgage, a student loan, traffic ticket, anything that you have to sign as far as a bondage, even if it's a bondage, which they call a bond, to get out of unlawful imprisonment, that's commerce. That commerce belongs to you. When he says citizens alone, he's not talking about the citizens of the United States. He's talking about a classification. There are several classifications of citizenship. The highest classification is AA. That's the Aboriginal. Thus, you have AA 222141, which is the classification of the Aboriginal and Indigenous sovereign Moorish American nationals of the land, not to be construed as sovereign citizens, because there's no such thing. It says, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. And the United States is a lowercase u, United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. What constitutional laws of the government? The Constitution for the United States of North America, in which our forefathers ordained and established for the United States of America. I am dependent on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Here's the key: supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. Then when you go here, it says, if Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. So that means every issue you declare your nationality, because the first issue of law is status. Status is the state, your standing, your condition, but most importantly, your social position in relation to the rest of the community. It also includes status. It also includes a state, because your status depends on your standing in relation to your estate. If your status is stateless, then you have no estate, period. It says, in all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. That's more proof of what I just said. The first issue of law is status. You get a traffic ticket, no different than you get a mortgage statement in the mail. First issue of law is status. No matter how many statements they sent you and you thought that you were sending payments in the form of Federal Reserve notes, nope, they were dodonis. Dodonis means a gift. You were giving them free Federal Reserve notes. It says, I'll repeat, in all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers, not issues formed by the legislators of the de facto states. Those are principles that delude to slavery, also called color of law for colored persons. Now, Noble Drew Ali, because we're going to clear this up, because a lot of people keep attacking Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey. Is he a Grand Sheik? What the hell you think? The 14th Amendment, the 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced since 1774. 1774 is the Articles of Association, which declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed. So that means the Constitution of 1774, Articles of Association, compiled with the Constitution of 1776, known as the Declaration of Independence, compiled with the Articles of Confederation of 1781, compiled with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787, which was superseded by the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, compiled with the Constitution for the United States of North America of 1789, 1791. Those constitutions have never been changed. That means there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So those that are saying that we are not supposed to enforce the Constitution and that Noble Drew Ali has not taught civics and has not promoted civics, they just, if you're paying attention, they just showed you their position. And I don't have to say what it is. So there isn't but one issue, supreme issue, for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. And before I forget, I want to go to forfeit, because whenever there's a mortgage, whenever there's a traffic issue, whenever there is any issue under color of law, including the issue of Quinn Kabir L being held captive as prize for profit and denationalized against his consent, these individuals that call themselves or identify themselves as judge, clerk of the court, sheriff, police, all of that, right? And especially attorneys, because even these people claiming to be a judge, they're attorneys. Their position is forfeit. Forfeit is the person making a forfeit or in forfeiting another in fee. Fee is not a cost. Fee is an estate in reversion. Fee is escheat. Fee is also called a forfeit. Now, right here, forfeit is defined as the gift of any corporal hereditament to another. A corporal hereditament is a tangible inheritance that includes your not motor vehicle. What am I saying? Automobile. That includes basically your estate, including your body. A forfeit is a gift of any corporal hereditament, anything that can be physically inherited, to another, operating by transmutation of possession and requiring as essential to its completion that the succeed be passed, which might be accomplished either by investiture or by livery of succeed. It is a gift of a freehold interest in land accompanied by livery of succeed. The essential part is the livery of succeed. Also, pay attention to the terms. The deed or conveyance by which such corporal hereditament is passed. You will not use, in other words, a quit claim deed to make adverse claim to your property. That's color of title. You're also quitting your claim. Then it says a forfeit originally meant the grant of a feud or fee. And an example of a forfeit will look like this. Go right here to a deed. And give me a second. Okay, example deed. Right here. Now look at what it says. That in consideration of the sum of $5,625,000, which includes the amount of any outstanding mortgage, their pledge, or deed of trust, same thing. Forfeits, if any, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged, the said grantor do hereby grant and convey to the said grantee as sole owner in fee simple all that lot of ground situated in the county of Montgomery, a state in reversion. So when you see the term fee, that's short for fee simple. All right? Fee simple or fee is a forfeit. A forfeit, I'll say it again, originally meant the grant of a feud or fee. And then when you go, and this is proof that attorneys are enforcing Moorish Americans in fee. Let's go to attorney. We're going to attorney, and we're going to break down that word real quick, and we'll see why it is not in your interest to utilize an attorney or to consent to anything that these acting administrative clerks calling themselves judges, but are really attorneys, whom are the modern day Pharisees and Sadducees that was spoken about in the Bible. Attorney, we're not going to read this because that's connotation. First word in attorney is attorn with an E. Latin and French and Old English law and attorney. Drop the E. You have attorn. Still talking about attorneys. To turn over, to transfer to another, money or goods, to assign to some particular use or service, to consent to the transfer of a rent or reversion, to agree to become tenant to one as owner or landlord of an estate previously held of another, meaning previously held by you, the heir, or to agree to recognize a new owner of a property or estate and promise payment of rent to him. And when you go to the whole word of attorn, you'll see attornment. Attornment right here. That's the whole word of attorn. Still talking about attorneys. In feudal and Old English law, a turning over or transfer by a lord of the services of his tenant to the grantee of his seigneury. Attornment is the act of a person who holds a leasehold interest in land. That's called an inheritance or estate for life or years, by which he agrees to become the tenant of a stranger who has acquired the fee in land or the remainder or reversion, or the right to the rent or services by which the tenant holds. How did he get the right? By your consent to an attorney. Homeowner association, fees, attornment, forfeit, same thing. All of it is dealing with a reversion, also called an estate in reversion. Now you see attorn, an attornment, an attorney deals with one consenting to transfer his estate to a reversion. Now, when you go to escheat, so we can make the connection, escheat is right here. Wait a minute. Almost there. All right. Escheat. A reversion right there. That's an attornment. Attorneys, they're escheating your birthrights, a reversion of property to the state, i.e., state's attorney's office, in consequence of a want, a lack of any individual competent to inherit. And this is what was explained to Quinn Kabir L. They were escheating his estate. He did not know that going into the executor's chambers, what they call hell, which is what the prisoner of war camps are. And right here, escheat at feudal law was the right of the lord of a fee to re-enter upon the same when it became vacant by the extinction of the blood of the tenant. Remember, you consented to be tenant to a stranger by consenting to an attornment. This extinction might either be per defectum sanguinis or else per delectum tenenis, where the course of descent was broken by the corruption of the blood of the tenant. Hence, anything you say can and will be used against you. Why? Because they taught us connotative linguistics in the institutions that they call school. So they're using your words against you because they're banking on your words being corrupted. And look at what it says. As a fee might be holden either of the crown. Who's the crown? The British Accreditation Registry. BAR. Yep, that's the crown. Or from some inferior lord, which they call landlord or feudal landlord. That does not mean that they rule the land. That's an escheat. It says the escheat was not always to the crown. The word escheat in this country merely indicates the preferable right of the state to an estate left vacant, your estate that you did not claim, which includes your right of travel, your right of privacy. They don't have a search warrant, which they can't get a search warrant for Moorish Americans. Then they cannot question you or ask you for anything unless you respond and consent. That's called commerce. Commerce includes an exchange of words between man and man, or an exchange of ideas between man and man. So you ain't supposed to answer them. You're supposed to challenge them and hold them to their treaty obligations. That means you have to study the treaty. Then it says, and without there being anyone in existence able to make claim thereto. So if we are not able to make claim thereto, there's a classification for that. That's called stateless person, also known as subjects of these dominions, who are in a delinquency state. Thus and therefore, consul cannot be answerable for them in any manner whatever, per, right here, Article 21 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836, and I'll highlight it right here. So we're not going to talk about beliefs and opinions. We're talking facts. Islam. And last but not least, everyone should definitely is encouraged to go to enforcetheconstitution.org, click on Morocco Consular Court, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see this congressional record, which Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey always speaks about. It's the letter from the Secretary of State. It's a congressional record, 1906. And it talks about citizenship in Morocco, which is the Moroccan Empire. 1906. The Kingdom of Morocco was established in 1956. So you should already know, and by looking at the timeline, 1906, they're not talking about the Kingdom of Morocco. It says there are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. Keep in mind, this is the Secretary of State speaking. and that's the Secretary of State of the United States of America, that his position is and duties is to oversee internal affairs, also called international affairs. So he would be speaking about the subject of treaties. So it says, 1, citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure, that means by the operation of law, as Moorish subjects. Moorish subjects come under Article 6 right here. It says, if any more, not a subject of these dominions, shall make prize of any of the citizens of America, and bring, or their effects, that's their estates, look up the definition of effects, and bring them into any of the ports of his majesty. When you think port, don't think the port that's near the water. Nope, when you get pulled over, wherever there's commerce being conducted between Moors and citizens of the United States, that's called a port. So an example of a port is when you get pulled over by the policy enforcer. Another example of a port is when you go to the institution that called the bank. At that window, that's a port. It says they shall be immediately released, as they will then be considered as under his majesty's protection. In other words, if there are Moors whom are subjects of these dominions, and that is basically Moors that cannot prove foreign citizenship. That means your citizenship is foreign to the United States and cannot prove protection. Your protection is treaty protection. You got to prove it. It's not about what you know. Knowing is half the battle. The other half is proving, and the proof has to be beyond reasonable doubt. And then you turn the sword to them. Now they have to prove their jurisdiction. Then if you can't prove, then you are classified as a Moor subjects, and that's not just Moors. That's also foreign hybrid European colonists who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection. So they have to declare their citizenship, which they can't say U.S. citizen because that's talking about a corporate person by the definition of person in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And by the 14th Amendment, not applying to humans at all and being unconstitutional. They have to prove their citizenship or foreign citizenship by declaring their pedigree. That's the bloodline. So everybody has to tell the truth. And that's what we are. This is called the Great Reset, also called revelations. All will be revealed. Islam, I yield.
Islam, so I'm listening to you. I'm just thinking in terms of what we've seen over the years, what we learned in school, and so forth, the things that we've seen over the media and so forth. None of what should be done with regard to us being the Aboriginal, the indigenous people of the land or Moors has actually been done. Everything has been covered over, and that's why when folks come over here, the de facto government puts them into as citizens of their government by making them Americans, U.S. citizens, which negates the fact that they're on Moorish, part of the Moorish Empire when they're here, but instead they make them a part of their government.
Right, which is de facto, and we got to remember the word government is a compound word. First word is govern, that means to control and to direct. Yep,
mental.
It's for mental, right? And so when we think government, normally our minds were conditioned to go straight to the people downtown at the area that they call Washington District of Columbia with suits and ties on, calling themselves congressmen. That's not government. And we just went to Republican government. The definition of Republican government is one in which the powers of sovereignty are vested in the people. The people's the government. Everybody's like, well, where do we go? Go to yourself and study the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Study it. That's going to instruct you on what government is and what you have to do. So that's indoctrination. That's proof of animal husbandry training, also called docility training, and MK Ultra. So all disputes. Oh, Islam.
No, I was going to say, you were telling me about the brother, and I don't know if it's the same case, but the one who had the barbershop. His situation was that Keith, or was that no?
Yeah, that was Keith L. Bay. He was
but he was leasing was he not originally leasing a long-term lease?
Yeah, there was a Fourthman instrument, a bill of attainder that he consented to out of ignorance. He didn't know any better. And he was there, I believe, for like 20 years, I think he said, until recent 2 years ago, they forced him out of the property. And then, through a collusive action under color of law. Then, he sought out consular jurisdiction, and we did a consultation, and then he compensated for consular assistance. First and foremost, I had to see if he was qualified for consular jurisdiction. People don't like it. Some people do. Some people respect it. Some people don't. Doesn't matter. Many are called, few are chosen. So he studied, showed himself approved. I assisted him with drafting the documents, but I gave him the caveat that these words, as soon as you sign these documents, these words belong to you, and you are held to the responsibility, which is the ability to respond. So that means you have to enforce the documents. You have to enforce the words on the record. First and foremost, you have to give the words, your word, full faith and credit. So you can't expect anybody else to give your words full faith and credit if you yourself don't give it full faith and credit. And he did that. And long behold, he made adverse claim to the estate, not just that commercial area that he was cutting hair at, but the whole entire estate, which includes other commercial property and residential property. He made adverse claim to the estate because our estate is not limited to a plot, right? It's not limited to just some plot. This is our land. And yes, and he was successful at it. The case was, or the collusive action was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction and fraud, not by the word of these acting administrative clerks, but by the words of Keith L. Bay. So he had the power. He exercised the power of sovereignty, and he was successful. And we actually did a workshop. It was an unexpected workshop at his at the barbershop. And that's on the YouTube channel as well. Enforce the Constitution YouTube channel. If you're not there, go there, subscribe. We post different events and different workshops, but most importantly, we post our public actions. All of the public actions that we do here, whether it be at Maryland, at DC, at Virginia, at Massachusetts, no matter wherever it is, we make it public via YouTube, but most importantly, we make it public on the website. So yeah, he was successful at it, and he deserves high honors. And now he's at the point where he is now to overstand what he did. So now he's studying what he did, because there's 3 studies or 3 understandings. The first is understanding. The second is understanding. Understanding is understanding what you're about to do. So that means study what you're about to do. Understanding is when you're doing it. So now that's what Quinn is right now. He's understanding. He's in the process of doing it. He's being exercising what he knows. And then the overstanding comes after you've accomplished what you've done. Now you have to study what you did so that you can teach someone else how to do it. So that's also the 3 steps of salvation that's mentioned in the Circle 7. Belief, that's what man thinks perhaps is truth. Faith, that's what man knows is truth. Fruition, that's man himself, the truth. So you don't know you're a mechanic. You be a mechanic and fix the damn car. Right?
Yes, right.
So
You have to put some proof to it.
yeah, put the proof to it. And then facts can't be rebutted or challenged. The facts. So now it's a recorded history that you don't have to prove that you're a mechanic. Look at the fixed car. The work itself will show your qualification. And that's what I try to get people to understand when they get Moors to engage in these processes. And let me show you that too. That's why I posted it on the website. These processes right here. The haters are going to be mad at this as well. Get over it. You're being revealed. You click on study materials for Moors. Scroll down to where you see this PDF. It's called Sovereign Citizens, an Introduction for Law Enforcement. This was drafted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Domestic Terrorism Operations Unit, which we all know to be de facto. Nevertheless, they tell you what they're looking for, the processes. And we're going to go to page number 4. Right here. It says, to declare one's status as a sovereign citizen, an individual usually takes specific steps to renounce his or her U.S. citizenship. Once these steps have been completed, the sovereign citizen believes they will be exempt from U.S. laws. I don't know what that is. Maybe that was a typo. Laws and taxes. Now, look at what this says. An individual must first file documents with the SOS, that's the Secretary of State's office, declaring his or her sovereignty. Documents which are filed to denounce U.S. citizenship include an act of state, UCC-1, copy of birth certificate, and a social security card. Once the receiving office files the documents, an apostille is generated acknowledging the documents have been correctly filed. Once the sovereign citizen receives the apostille, they view this as the USG. What is USG? Acknowledging their United States government. Yeah. Usually acknowledging their newly acquired sovereign status. Everybody that's doing those processes, you are being watched and classified as quote unquote a sovereign citizen who are the number one suspected terrorist on the Department of Justice's terrorist list. They're number one. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron statement. You're either sovereign or you're a citizen of the United States. But all of those processes are in this manual. There was even someone calling himself a emperor. I ain't gonna shout him out because he don't get no credibility from me, but he called himself an emperor, and he said because he got his apostille recognized by the Secretary of State, then that makes him a separate government and his 15 members of his empire. Well, that shows you his position. COINTELPRO. I ain't say it. Look on this manual. The FBI drafted the manual. It's on the website. And don't think that we created this manual. Go ahead and put this sovereign citizens and introduction for law enforcement. Put that in Google, put PDF, and you'll see the website that it'll pop up on. So I just wanted to show that as well so that our brothers and sisters can stop going to brothers and sisters with wearing purples and fezzes that are putting our Moorish American brothers and sisters back into slavery. Those processes will do it.
So what process, if you will, does enforce the Constitution.org support or promote?
Due process of law.
If any.
Due process of law. Due process of law. And you won't see this in their manual. Hold on. Due process of law comes under Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution for the United States of North America, which is the supreme law of the land. This is the process that our civic organization promotes, and we basically do workshops and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to stay away from teach because I'm technically not your teacher. The teacher is within. So, but this is what I promote and I instruct. Article 3, Section 2. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls. Right here is identification of the courts. Ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, consular court, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. Why do you need the UCC if Article 3, Section 2 covers admiralty and maritime jurisdiction? To controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizen thereof and foreign states, citizens, or subjects. This is called due process of law. They're not going to call that sovereign citizen terrorist paperwork. They're going to dismiss the case because Article 3, Section 1 and 2 identifies the judicial power. If they don't have it, you have it, and you exercise the judicial power, because this is still a Republican form of government. So diversity of citizenship issues do not go to the venues called U.S. District Court or to state courts, county courts, municipal courts, city courts, and also Supreme Court. They're all de facto. It goes to consular courts. And we never gave up our consular jurisdiction. If we did give up consular jurisdiction, the treaty would not be enforced, and all foreign hybrid European colonists and foreign interests on this land would be extricated. It will be done. It will be terminated. So consular jurisdiction still stands, and that's consular court. Islam.
Even though they were. So when it comes down to, though, those are cases, but nationality. If somebody wants to, declare their nationality and make the proclamation public, get a card or whatever. Does enforcetheconstitution.org handle any of that?
Yes, we just got a contractor that is drafting or issuing the national identification cards. You can go on, let me see, let me do it again. You can go on enforcetheconstitution.org and you will click on national ID and recording. Now we have gotten some requests and compensation was made. However, the process is brand new. We're brand new at issuing the national identification cards from the Office of the Consul General, not the civic organization, but the Office of the Consul General of Morocco issues the national identification cards. Like I said, we are just now starting out. However, we also offer recording services. So you would read the instructions. All of these are the instructions. Please read the instructions instead of just sending us an email asking us questions that we already gave the answer to on the website for the sake of time. But in short, service number one, that's where we draft the documents for you. That is the legal notice and judicial proclamation. We print it, we sign it, we seal it, and we send it to you via priority mail. and that cost is $50 plus $10 for shipping. And then if you want service number 2 in addition to service number 1, which is why we have this right here, because a lot of people say, you know, they just want to they just want service number 2 and post their nationalization documents that they got from other organizations. And if you read it carefully, I'm not making any offense to those organizations. However, the language is colored. So we draft the documents for you in service number 1. If you want service number 2 in addition to service number 1, that is an additional $10 plus $10 for shipping. And if you want the certified copy, that's $20. And that's service number 2 is basically to have your nationalization documents filed in the records of Morocco Consular Court and returned to you with the file stamp and certification letter. And then you get to have basically your nationalization documents shown to be given full faith and credit in the records of Morocco Consular Court. And then service number 3 is where we publish your documents on the website. This website for 4 consecutive weeks is public notice, and you will receive a certification letter regarding the publication. So there'll be a receipt with a paragraph at the bottom showing that your documents were published from this date to this date, which total of 4 weeks, and that cost is $70. And the total for all 3 of the recording services were $160. And of course, when I say dollars, I'm speaking connotatively because we're talking about really fiat, and we accept Cash App. If you don't have Cash App, then we accept Quicksilver. Yes, we accept Quicksilver, and you would send the request if you want to know how to pay via Quicksilver. You'll send the request to info@enforcetheconstitution.org. And if you want to pay via Cash App, you would send it to $ Lamont Maurice L. We have sisters that we are working with, part of the consulate, that are drafting the documents. They're also drafting the documents when we do consular services. So it's training for them, because soon they will be doing consultations, the same consultations that I do, and they will be offering consular assistance as well. But we're training right now. And right here, you'll go to, where is it at? Declare your nationality. And you will be able to see, and this is very important to study all of this, but you will be able to see several Moorish Americans that publicly declared their nationality on the website. And it's being ran for 4 weeks. Sometimes it may go over 4 weeks, but this right here is the certification letter sealed by our officer Adil Zakat Saeed Bey, which I want to talk about in a few minutes. That brother, because something happened to him today. But the next page, you'll see the file stamp by the vizier of the Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. And same goes for the judicial notice. Right here. File stamp.
Okay.
So this is the service that we offer in regards to assisting Moors in declaring their nationality. But it must be known that the paperwork does not identify you without your words and actions and deeds. It's just paper. It's just ink on paper. Without you working the paper don't work. If that makes sense.
Yeah, someone asked if there was any testimonies of anyone so traveling, I think it said by boat or plane or something with the documents.
See, everybody think, oh, let's go to principle. Let's go to principle, because we still think documents is the salvation. The documents is not a salvation. The documents is a means of communication. You want to go to your treaty and hold yourself to the obligations in the treaty. Article 4, because if you're talking recognition by land, air, and water, you want to go to Article 4. A signal or pass shall be given to all vessels belonging to both parties by which they are to be known when they meet at sea. Okay. What's the signal? Go to the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th or 5th edition, look up signal. You'll see a signal is a display of lights or a flag. Then it says or pass. A pass, such as a passport, is a license or permission. Passes are for products. Signals are for nationals. Then it says shall be given to all vessels. A vessel is anything carrying cargo. Your body's a vessel. Your body, which is the flesh, which you should know in chapter 1 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the man is not the body nor the soul. So that means the body is the vessel that carries the soul and the spirit of man. So is the paper. Paper is a vessel. It carries words. So is your automobile, your boat, your airplane, so on and so forth. All of those are vessels. And as well as your domicile. It's supposed to have either a signal, i.e. your national flag, which shows your status and jurisdiction, or you'll be issued a pass, license, or license plate, or passport. And if you look at your national identification card, it's supposed to have a signal on it. Why do you need a passport if your national identification card has a signal? And then, in order to get a passport, you need a driver's license, right? So when you go here, 18 USC 1508, in Google, you'll see www.justice.gov. Click on that. It says 1508 specifically mention identification documents. Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents, non-identification documents, and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in the absence of a national identity card, i.e. a national identity card, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States, which is a jurisdiction, not the land. The 3 documents are birth certificate, driver's license, and personal identity card. Then it says here under A, we're going to go straight to it. It says the original purpose of this government issued document was to state that a particular person, corporate that is, was authorized to operate a vehicle under the public roadways. Oh, this is driver's license. My apologies. Same thing. It was not intended to establish one's identity. Your driver's license does not identify you. Same as a birth certificate. And look what they said. Obviously, a birth certificate is not intended to actually identify the person who claims such a document pertains to him. It also is not used for your benefit. It's a bottomry instrument used for human trafficking. Stop trying to cash in on a birth certificate because you won't be holding due course. It was used to steal your ancestral estate. That's it. So those that think
your receipt, your parents' receipt for the theft, that was for yeah,
exactly.
And your footprint as a so-called signature, which you were really not conscious of or aware of. So yeah, it's
right.
It is.
Those are folkmen. Wait, did she fall off?
She did. Katrina? Of course. Look, I didn't even realize we were up to 2 hours already. So. But yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It's just that we have the next day coming, things to do. But let me see. What is this? She said she had to log off to pick up her son.
Okay.
Yeah, she did.
Thank you, sister.
Oh, she came back. Did she come back? Let me see.
back. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. She's driving. She's
Oh,
driving.
traveling.
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 She's traveling. Yes.
Traveling.
She's traveling. Traveling. Yeah. She
Oh.
should have picked her son up. So, but you know, we are at that point. I mean, I think this was really good. Folks can read. I mean, I had to block a couple of folks. I try to let folks, you know, be as free as they should be want to be in the chat. But when it starts to, you know, mess with others' comprehension of what's going on, you know, because sometimes trolls just make it so that others can't even get anything from it because they're too busy bantering back and forth with the stuff. I mean, I had to, you know, I think I had like 3 blocks.
Yeah, you had to invite him to the block party.
Yep, they had to do the block party, you know what I mean? And so one even knew that they were going to be blocked because when they first came on, they said, "Don't block me." And I said, "Don't do anything to get blocked." They just went and did a whole bunch of stuff to get blocked. I let it go on for quite some time. But anyhow, I think this has been very informative, and folks, because a lot of folks reach out to me to try to get in touch with you. But I believe the website is very, very, very informative. I mean, I haven't gone through the whole site, so when I'm on the phone, I can't say, "Well, click over here." Click. I'm telling them click over to the left, and they're saying, "No, it's not set up there like that anymore." Well, click somewhere. I don't know what it is. I can't. You know me. They'll send me messages and ask me if I will forward the text to you and have you give back the. I mean, I'm like, I can't have no guarantees, you know. But I think this has been very informative. And for those who, you know, somebody asked about did the prophet charge for his wisdom. You know, that's what gets me about us. We don't question going to you know the hybrids or anybody whatever service is good. But when it comes to the services that we provide to each other or we just put out there, Moors, not all, but a lot of Moors want to question, you know, the validity. I mean, and even when I was a pastor, no, I know, but you know what they say, the servant. Now, some people go overboard. Now, I'm not going to say that. Even when I was in ministry, there were folks that, you know, it disgusted me as how they conducted themselves but still, the servant is worthy, or the labor of the hire. And if you're doing something and you're giving something, if you're willing to pay, like you said, an attorney who actually putting you in the jurisdiction of the British Crown and not for your own good, that's not working for you, even though it appears that they are, first of all, they are representing you and you need to present yourself. And so you put yourself in their hands, you give them 33% of whatever you know, and yet when it comes to us, if we are doing something right and lawful, then you should be able to be compensated. No one, you know, and that kind of gets to me. I mean, I do things, I get compensated for the things that I do. And it's like this: either you want my services or you don't. You know, I'm not begging you. I'm not begging you. If you want what I have and this is what it is, then fine. But if you don't want it, just don't talk about it. Just don't pay it. It's not for you. It's not for you. Look, we got to get away from that ish. Just like that.
In the beginning of Circle 7, it says the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. You can also receive service at expense. And I know what I went through to be able to even get the ability to offer this service. And I also know when I was giving it away for free, that violated the divine laws of contract, because one of the essentials of a valid contract is mutuality of obligation. So the obligation of both parties is supposed to be mutual. If you're putting in a service, then they're supposed to put in the energy that offsets the service. Otherwise, it's an unbalanced contract. And that's why I had to go through the hell and the hot water that I went through back in 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then a little bit in 2020. So I know the value of what I have, and I know that any other law professor that either teaches law or offers a service that that requires knowledge of law and a record of the I would say public record of the success, they're going to charge according to their work. And if you don't want the service, you're not going to get the service. And not only that, but the paper trail and everything's on the website. You don't have to. It's been people.
It's there.
Yeah, it's been people reaching out to me saying, Brother Lamont, I just want to let you know that I went on your website and I studied the foreclosure processes and I used the documents as templates. And lo and behold, I was successful. Thank you very much. We're not hiding anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all they need. But if they need you to put your energy, any more energy than you already did to put that website up, but that they need hand holding and they need that level of support, then yes, then this is what it is. But if you could take what you have, if they can take what you've already made available for free of charge and put that together to the extent that maybe even they don't have it all together, but they have enough that if they need you, they only need you a little bit because they were able to, see that. But still, your time is valuable. I try to take my time and energy because my time is valuable. I mean, folks don't realize that, but I'm like, I'm gonna start charging for consultations on the phone. I talk to people sometimes for more than an hour. Some folks I talk to because we're having a mutual conversation of, and I might even take it further. But for the most part, I give hours of time every single day, trying to, put this person with, this individual or this man or woman with this man or woman or this service or whatever. And I'm just doing it, and 3/4 of my day is gone. So folks don't realize I'm not just sitting here saying, waiting for the next call. I'm saying, I don't want any more calls. Not today, because I have a life too. And so, you have a life too, and you have things that you're doing, but this is your dedication that you have put forth. And this is what you came on this earth plane to do. And so it's just like the folks that are driving a truck or working in an office. This is what you're doing.
And most importantly, like, people think that things should be free. No, you either are going to pay via compensation or you're going to pay via attention. Either way, you got to pay. And it's not necessarily you're compensating me to draft the documents and then behold, you're going to win the case or whatever. The case gets dismissed. Nope. You're paying not only for my time, but you're also paying for training. We train. We don't train. We don't walk people and take their hands and walk. Nope. We train because you're supposed to still enforce it and confess your own. Chapter 47. And this is what I give the people a caveat. Like, don't look at that paperwork like, oh, the paperwork is going to be the key to just knock over everything, the silver bullet. No. Chapter 47 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Civics of America, 15, starting at verse 15. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Guess what? Once you send that paperwork off, you need to contact the de facto clerk's office and you got to speak to them. So if you're speaking a language that conflicts with the language on the paper, guess what? That paperwork doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. And there has been people that found out firsthand and they call, Brother Lamont, the paperwork not working. No, you ain't speaking. You're still corrupting your blood. And you still think that your salvation is on the outside of you. That's why we train. We train. People pay for training.
You're not just getting paperwork, you're getting training. So that
we're not selling paperwork.
You got to be able to stand on it. And that is absolutely. And there's other things. Other folks can do the research themselves. But if you don't get it with some inner, like you said, the 3 levels, understanding, understanding, overstanding. Another thing about understanding, people like, I don't understand anything. Yeah, well, sometimes if you think about a foundation or something, you want to make sure that the foundation on which you're standing is good. So you might want to go under it and examine it from the bottom, instead of just assuming that the top, from the top, that it's going to be enough to hold you. So when you're understanding, it's not like you're understanding some man or woman. No, you're examining what's under to see if that foundation is going to be secure enough to what you're going to build on it to get an understanding and an overstanding.
Yep. And it starts with words. If you don't understand the word, guess what? Words create images. Thus you have imagination. If I say giraffe, you won't think elephant, or you won't see elephant in your mind unless your vision is corrupted. And your vision is corrupted if your words are corrupted. So I say giraffe, you see giraffe. If I say attorney, you should see escheat. But if you don't see escheat, you see someone who's going to protect my rights. Your vision is corrupted. So it starts with knowing words. The word is the foundation. If you don't know the word, then the actions and the deeds is not going to follow your true intent. It's going to follow the word. And what does it say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And also in Proverbs, for by your word you are justified, and by your word you will be condemned. It's by your word. So the foundation should be words. If you don't know what you're looking at, then that means you still have to learn how to read. So get a dictionary.
So Hakeem Miles must have just come on because he said, "Did Brother Quinn get training?" You said that. That's
Brother Quinn has been getting training from July all the way until
up until now.
March, till now. Yeah, we still training them. Hey, look, I know who knows the training that Brother Quinn's been getting, and that's the people that listen to the recorded calls at the jail. They've been getting training too. Yeah, we don't let that stop us. We ain't got no cut cards. We train. All they're doing is looking to use your words against you. They need your word. They need your words.
Someone just saying they couldn't get the Cash App address to work. It is $ Lamont Maurice L, right? Is it all lowercase?
Yeah,
does it have to be
it's $ Lamont Maurice L. And what will pop up is Lamont Butler L. That's the free and national name that'll pop up. But it's $ Lamont Maurice L.
And you'll see Lamont Butler L. Okay. So just so you
and make sure you put donation for Quinn.
Oh, okay. I just put for Quinn. Let me change that a little bit so it says that the donation.
That's cool. Or you could just put Quinn. That's cool too.
Oh, okay. Well,
just put Quinn.
Okay, for Quinn. All right. You want to do that. And let me see. This was very good. All right. Thank you so much. Sister.
I wanted to say one more thing. We have a next week. Well, we started a what was it called? We started a workshop dealing with right of travel. And next week, next Tuesday, that is, we will do part 2 of right of travel. We have that on the not the website, on YouTube channel. It's the latest YouTube video that we uploaded. It's right of travel. And the second one is right of travel next week. And we will be at the Everlasting Life Center off Central Avenue, Prince George's County, Maryland. And information will be sent out via all of the subscribers to the website. And if you are subscribed to the website, make sure you go to the promotions, your promotions email, because when we send out the email, for some reason, it doesn't go to the primary email. It goes to promotions, or it goes to, what's the other one called?
Spam or no.
Spam. Yes, it goes to spam. But everyone that's looking to be a part of the Zoom, if you can't make it to Maryland and you want to come via Zoom, Make sure you subscribe to the website enforcetheconstitution.org, and you will receive the invitation. And if you are a troll or anything like that, we have no problem. Even if you compensate, because it does cost, we have no problem with removing you. We will remove you. You will be invited to the block party.
Yes, we have to do that.
Yes, we throw block parties.
Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. But oh, look, I'm gonna put the little trees up there. All right, okay. Well, I think this was good. I'm gonna leave with my little promo for Chokeberry. How you like Chokeberry? I need a testimony.
It's great. I still take it. I haven't had any coughs, but whenever I get like a little mild headache, I take a shot. I'm good to go, and I definitely will need more. My last bottle is right there. I used the whole
the 3 liter.
Yeah, I just got the bottle, so I'm gonna have to order it. And the that thing, I still ain't get to place my order because I've been busy with so many things.
Oh, Itera Care. Yeah, Itera Care for the. Okay, yes, you're Itera Care. I'm gonna do a segment about because Dr. G's in a whole. I'm into so many things. I mean, I'm now into crystal things, the biocrystal mattresses and sleep pads and stuff like that, and the other stuff. So one of these days, I'm gonna do a segment on. I call it what is it called? Multiple streams in the desert. So you got to have multiple streams, And I like the fact because somebody called me the other day, and I think they wanted to get some services, and they said, I went on the site, and they have down here that you can pay with Quicksilver. I want to know if that's legit. I said, it's legit. I didn't know that that's what he was using, but that's a great way of getting folks in the downline. I said, because I said, yeah, he's a part of my team. So yeah, if that's the way you want to pay, do it with silver.
Yeah, see, and it's basically for those that don't have Cash App, you can use your credit card or debit card, go on there as a preferred customer. If you want a consultation, which is $300, you'll choose around 9 coins, which would be around like 300, maybe 325 or something like that. And then we have a mailing location to send the coins to, and we will get the coins directly from Quicksilver.
So you have it so that they will put your address into the ship too.
Yeah, and not my address. No, it's a mailing location.
I'm saying the mailing. Instead of coming to them and then they got to get it to you, it goes to your mailing location, and then once it's there, then you know that they've done their part.
And what we would need basically is the email, which is the receipt that will be sent from Quicksilver to their email. We just would need them to forward that email to us, and then we'll see that that's the receipt of payment.
That's already lawful payment. Okay, lawful payment, and that's good. That's good. Yeah. That's a good way to grow. And
I want to also, before I forget, I want to shout out our consul Kamau and Amina, who's at Trinidad and Tobago jurisdiction. They have exercised their treaty rights and have enforced the Constitution. Please don't hit me up for this service. Don't hit me up yet. We're still waiting for it to be done so that we can then offer the service. We don't offer services for processes that have not been done yet. So I drafted, I had Kamo draft the visa, and then he sent it to me, and then I redrafted and printed it, signed it, sealed it, and sent it to them, and they took it to the airport. The visa is not a passport. You need the visa with your national identification card, and they proved their foreign citizenship and protection, and they also proved their right of travel, which is protected and secured under international treaty law. That is, and I need to show this, Dr. G, if you don't mind. Let me please show this, because a lot of people keep saying that they need some type of a pass or permit. No, we're going to go to Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And right here, UN.org. And we're going to Article 13. Article 13. And look up the definition when you see it so that you can know the difference between right versus privilege or pass. It says right here, everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. 2, everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country. Right is short for birthright. Can't be bought, can't be sold, can't be transferred. It can only be abandoned and claimed. So where does the word privilege or pass or license come in? It doesn't. That's when you consent to your right to be transferred under what is called escheat by way of abandonment for that of a privilege that can be regulated. Rights cannot be regulated. So there you go.
That's so they've been able to leave and get and go.
It got down to where they were at a local flight. So it got down to where the pilots were like, well, we're just not going to do it. You know what I mean? But TSA, the airport police, everybody at first who was appearing to be against Kamau and Amina were then siding with Kamau and Amina because they enforced the treaty.
But so it didn't go all the way through.
No, they said that they got to go to, I think they said they got to go and get tickets from an international flight, like U.S. Airlines or something like that. So right now we're still waiting. Yeah, so they have, how it was explained to me, they have like local flights and then they got international flights. And they said that it'll be best. He communicated with the ambassador or minister of Trinidad and Tobago. He was communicating with a lot, him and his consort, Amina. And Amina was, she was bringing that Allah energy. Like once the sisters get it, we ain't got to worry about nothing. And she definitely brought it. She brought it. When I tell you she brought it, I think they recorded it. If they did, I'm going to ask them to send it to me so that I can upload it on YouTube. But it was amazing. I saw pieces of it. And they all sided with them, but they just, advised them, look, you might want to go through the international flight. So that's what they're working on now. So shout out to them, Kamau and Amina, who are the consuls, and they come within our chain of command. Yeah, and anyone else looking to come within the chain of command with the office of the Consul General of Morocco, we are setting up training. It's not set up yet, so please don't contact us and want to be put on a list yet. We are working on that. We're going to do workshops and training for all those that want to come within the I keep forgetting it. My words, I think I'm getting tired. Chain of command. Yeah. So we're not looking for people that just want to call themselves and claim titles and call themselves something. No, first and foremost, we have a vetting process. If you want to be an officer with the consulate, you have to have show that you've enforced the Constitution and treaty and was successful. That's one. So you're not going to come and say, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, and you have no proof of it, because that is a violation of Article 4, Section 1, full faith and credit. We cannot give full faith and credit to anything other than public acts, public records, public judicial proceedings. So prove, that you have enforced the Constitution. And we also know that COINTELPRO agents can't enforce the Constitution.
Yeah.
So
you still have T-shirts. I remember wearing my T-shirt, one of my T-shirts, the one that said "Big Enforce the Constitution," and I was out somewhere, and it was one of the hybrid Europeans. I like that.
Yeah, we got a lot of support from them. Also, a lot of support, because a lot of the sheriff, the constitutional sheriffs, anyway, that are coming out. And I think they're called constitutional sheriffs or something like that. They're starting a movement, but they are for constitutional enforcement and a Republican form of government. Just like Taj always says, Trump was assigned. He was assigned. That doesn't mean he's with us. He's just carrying out his assignment, because in order for them to save themselves, they need a republic. We're the republic. They're just not going to come out.
For which it stands.
For which it stands, right. That's right.
Wow.
But yeah, as far as the shirts, we have stopped that operation temporarily because we've been going through different, we've been forced to make changes. I'll say that. We've been forced
sounds familiar. Forced to make changes. That sounds
because we had some infiltrators and some dirty Moors that was coming around trying to look for a benefit and, you know, call themselves titles and do things, you know, that they themselves don't even know how to do. And so now we have a vetting process. We do a background check. We do a screening. But most importantly, you have to show that you've enforced the Constitution and was successful. Constitution meaning the treaty as well, because treaty and Constitution, same thing. Yeah, right. But as far as consular jurisdiction, you have to be qualified, and we do consultation. And after the consultation, which is how we determine if you're qualified or not, then comes the consular assistance, or you can draft the document yourself, use the documents on the website as templates, and then have us look over the documents for you. That's consultation still. So that's a service that we offer as well. If you want to draft the documents all your own and you just want us to look over them, we'll do that as well. And that's consultation. And all of that service is shown on the website.
Yeah. What am I doing? Let's put something crazy up here. I'm trying to put, someone asked me to put the website up. So I'm getting emojis and things. Oh, I think I got it right.
Oh, there you go. Enforce the Constitution. Yep.
No, I'm trying to put it in the chat. I was asked, but something popped up, and I'm afraid if I click it, it might be turning off the whole channel. So,
yeah, no, that's cool. And also everybody that's sending the email, please give us time to respond, because you got to remember, we're not just talking. We are active. We're in the field as well. We are actively in the field. So we get shot with situations just like you all are. That does not mean we're ignoring you, and you still have to take responsibility. So understand that law makes no mistakes, and all events are governed by law. And I'm talking about divine law, not talking about man-made law. Talking about divine law. So man, if you read your Circle 7, the divine instructions, man will always find himself where he can learn best. Always. Just have to pay attention. You, no matter what, if you're paying a compensation or not, you still have to pay attention.
Right. So I would just recommend that at best that they go visit your website. I just put it in the chat, and just it's like a wealth of information there and knowledge, and just start studying that. And once you get to the point where you feel like, okay, I've gone over everything, then consider, then start putting, pen to paper, and maybe, draft your own writ or something that you need to do. Exactly. and start to take that knowledge and take that initiative and put that, into action for yourself.
That's right. And we are not looking for everybody. We're looking for everyone. Many are called, few are chosen. And guess what? We don't have to help. We don't have to. We have the power to choose. Just like if you go to a job or, a place of business and you want to apply for a job and they deny you. They have a right to. So do we. So we don't owe anybody anything. Right. People need to understand that, because people reach out, you're supposed to do this. No, we are not supposed to do anything, because that'll make us subjects of your will. We're not subjects to your will. Many are called, and out of the many, few are chosen. And you choose just like we choose. Birds of a feather flock together only because They chose to.
Yeah, that's true.
So
All right.
They just downloaded the website.
Download the website. All right. Well, study it. It's just like the flash drive. The flash drive. We have lots of information on there. And if you get hold of that, it's like you'll be in there for years. You won't get
I'm still studying that flash drive.
Yeah, right. So it's just something to have in your arsenal, and hopefully it'll help. Bring.
Brother Adil, this is another situation. Yeah, this is another situation that was shot because Brother Adil actually was supposed to be here with me, and instead he was pulled over for a traffic stop at Charles County by Charles County sheriffs, the same county. Yep, the same county where we exercise consular jurisdiction and retrieved our brother Javar Abdul Adel out of unlawful imprisonment. That county exercised the black codes and kidnapped Brother Adil, of course, earlier today. Yeah. And he contacted us. We did our protocol. They disregarded and they still kidnapped him. However, I'll say this because I gave everybody this warning. If you don't have a record showing that you've exercised your birthright and defended your birthright, then guess what? It's time to get one. So the brother was already ready. He was ready. He said, they keep pulling up behind me, but, for some reason, they ain't pulling me over. I'm ready for him. He's been saying that for the longest. So he's going through his initiation, so he'll have a record. And the record will reflect. So, and also the brother, I want to shout out the brother Art Rasoon L, who also he's out at Brooklyn, New York. He exercised his treaty right to consular jurisdiction at it was a New Jersey Port Police or something like that. And there's a traffic case and they kidnapped him. He got right out and he was excited. He was like, now I get to enforce the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? And then he's been doing so. And we've been giving him aid and assistance with consular assistance. And then he got pulled over by New York NYPD, New York Police Department, by two detectives, and the outcome was different. They let him go. He enforced his treaty right to consular jurisdiction. They said, "Have a nice day." Mm-hmm.
So did he have his? Does he have his?
He didn't even contact us. He did it all on his own. He just watched.
Does he have Morse tags?
Yes, he got the Morse tags from enforcetheconstitution.org. He got our tags. Yep.
Okay. So that's another thing you didn't say. Y'all have tags.
Yeah, we have tags, and we offer. Yeah, no, we don't offer the flags. We refer everyone to this website, Flags on Cars. They issue the diplomatic flags, the Moroccan diplomatic flags. But you definitely need your flag when you exercise your right of travel on open roads, which is called the highway, also called the sea. And you can't have your car registered and you can't have a driver's license because that means your estate is still in reversion by your consent. So anybody looking to purchase the enforce the Constitution tags, you can reach out to us at the email. The tags are going for 100 energy notes, or however we want to call it, fiat, and $10 an additional for shipping and packaging. But we also give the caveat: you must stand on jurisdiction. You have to. And if you've never been kidnapped or your car's never been towed or anything like that, welcome the challenge. Don't give up jurisdiction, but don't be afraid of it, because they were going to do it anyway if you had a driver's license. They were going to do it anyway. So be prepared to fight per the chapter 1, which is the test. It said man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. In other words, you got to fight. Be prepared to fight. Don't come and think, oh, I got these tags and I got these documents, so they just got to leave me alone. Nope. The bully been bullying you for years. So now you got to whoop his ass at least once. Said you know how to fight. You ain't gonna take your peanut butter sandwiches anymore. He's gonna say, okay, prove it. He's gonna punch you right in the face. What you gonna do? Brother Lamont, Taj, Dr. G, they just nope. Time to fight. But that's why we offer training.
Yeah, it's on you. It's on you. All right. Let me see. Last comment. See what else is up here. You'll see. Be prepared to invoke, someone said. All right.
Be prepared to invoke.
I appreciate y'all for hanging in for this extra 40 minutes or so. And I'm about to take it in. One of the things I'm trying to do is to get more sleep. We need to get quality sleep. I'm just going to say that. Don't sit up like I do all night long and then have to get up and go to bed from the couch because it's like starting all over. Get to bed. Get yourself at least 8 hours of sleep.
And Katrina said that she really appreciates. She sent me a text. She said she greatly appreciate what we've done for Brother Quinn tonight. And please, everyone, if you're just joining us, we are raising donations or raising funds. So please send donation to Lamont Maurice L, $ Lamont Maurice L via Cash App for the ransom of Quinn Kabir L. Okay. So we can get him out, get him to his family, but most importantly, he can actually enforce the Constitution without being limited to the next to no material that he has in the prisoner of war camp.
Okay.
And so that he can like get that attorney off of him because they keep trying to force the attorney.
All right, then. Got one more user to block. You out of here. I'm blocking you so you can't come back unless you come with another name. Take that, bull.
Block party. Welcome.
Look, just gave him a block party. Anyway, look, my partying stuff. Okay, yep. We're out of here. Thank you.
Islam.
Gonna play my little banners going out. And hey, till next time.
Till next time.
I'm ready. Peace. Yes. So thank you all for tuning in and go out with my little promo and appreciate you. Oh, we're still sitting there. Oh, there we go. All right. I was trying to do my promo. We write like in the middle of the promo.
Oh, yeah, we in the way.
Here we go.
Inviting you to get your Chokeberry Plus today. It is that amazing berry, high in antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antiviral properties. It supports and balances the blood pressure, the blood sugar, weight, and cholesterol. Yes, you can get a 2-month supply today by texting CB3L to 302-345-0500. That's CB3L to 302-345-0500. And get on the path to wellness today. You'll be glad you did.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. But we got to go. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me. Dr. G.
cut the cheek.